Alex, how are you?
Doing great, Mario. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. I know Trump is giving his speech as we speak. Now he's answering Q&As. It's so far been a nothing burger, nothing significant. He talked about the rescue operation. He talked about a leaker that mentioned a second pilot and wanting to pursue the leaker legally for leaking that information that there's a second pilot because they gave the Iranians the information to act on it as well. Nothing more, really. He said that protesters won't be going on the streets because they're too worried about getting shot. But nothing significant. Instead, the statements in the morning were more significant than what he said so far. The team will send me anything in the Q&A that's important because he does say he does speak his mind during the Q&As. Let's start with his post. His post, I don't have it open in front of me, but everyone's read it by now. Pretty surprising post. He's telling Iranians, the bastards, to accept the fucking deal and open up the Strait of Hormuz. Otherwise, there'll be destruction, bridges, power plants, etc., starting tomorrow as the deadline. Now, since then, the Iranians have responded by rejecting the peace proposal. There was a peace plan by a ceasefire proposal by Pakistan. And that proposal involved an immediate ceasefire and an immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which Pakistan also desperately needs. Their economy is getting decimated. They're going back to rationing fuel and asking people to work from home. Schools are now from home as well. And that's in Pakistan. Other Asian economies are doing the same thing. So those countries want the Strait of Hormuz opened. Then a follow-up to that ceasefire proposal was within 15 to 20 days to negotiate a final comprehensive peace deal. And they want to call it the Islamabad Accord with in-person talks. The comprehensive deal would involve Iran accepting limits on its nuclear program, no weapons development in exchange for sanctions relief and other guarantees, so security guarantees. That was the proposal by Pakistan. Iran relatively quickly rejected the proposal. They said they don't want a ceasefire. They want a permanent end to the war. And they had demands which Trump said, he said that demands were, it's great they've responded. It's a big step forward. I'm paraphrasing here, but they're too maximalist, too extreme demands. They're not workable. Iran's demands in the response to American ceasefire proposal, it rejected the 45-day temporary deal and it asked for a permanent end to the war. Very fair request, not just in Iran, but in Lebanon and Gaza too, with guarantees it won't restart. I think it's a very fair request. Number two, recognition of Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz with the right to collect tolls from passing ships. That's a pretty big demand. But for me, I think the only way it's workable, and Trump may somehow accept it because it doesn't impact the US, is if that replaces the request for reparations. Number three, recognition of Iranian control of the Strait of Hormuz. That's what I just said, sorry. Number three is full lifting of all economic sanctions. I think very reasonable demand. Number four, the right to enrich uranium under the NPT, Non-Proliferation Treaty, acknowledged in writing. I don't think it's workable because that just Trump will find it very difficult to twist this into a win for his voter base. And number five, reparations for economic damages caused by the war. Now, that could be just their position. They're happy to negotiate a few of the points. But that's where we are along with the pretty unhinged tweet by Trump.
Yeah, it was a pretty unhinged tweet, yeah. I wasn't expecting that post from Trump, the way he phrased it and worded it. An unfortunate post from a U.S. president on Easter Sunday. A very unfortunate post. And a post that can get him in trouble. Especially if things go bad in the midterms. Not the right post to put up, if you want my opinion there. But
what do you think it represents? You've been watching Trump closely, especially through the negotiations with Putin. You've covered that closely with Alexander on your show. When you read that post, what was your reaction? First, obviously, you said you were pretty shocked by it. You weren't happy with it. But does it show anger, desperation, keenness to get out of the war?
Everything you just said. I don't know about keenness to get out of the war. He is trying to find a way to perhaps exit a very difficult situation, but at the same time, claim victory and peace through strength and all of that stuff. I mean, I think this is his problem, is that he wants to make the exit from this conflict into a complete and total win. And it's just not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because Iran has the Trump card. They have Hormuz. And they've got it, and they've got firm control on Hormuz. And as long as they've got that card in their back pocket, Trump will never have the leverage that he's looking for. Period. I mean, it's just the way it is. The demands from Iran seem very reasonable. We're just talking about JCPOA, going back to something akin to the JCPOA, with the Strait of Hormuz having some sort of a fee, which is not unreasonable because there are many trade passages and routes which do have fees, especially if Iran can work it out with Oman. They can come to an understanding and a structure as to how it's going to work. Then it would be okay. It doesn't seem like it's too maximalist. You are right, Mario. It's maximalist for Trump because he doesn't want to go to his base and say, well, we now have a fee at the Strait of Hormuz, which means that everything I was telling you guys for this war and taking Hormuz and taking the oil and all of this stuff, and we'll never accept a fee on the Strait of Hormuz. It was all BS. It would paint everything that's been happening over the past 40 days as a loss for him, and he doesn't want that. This seems to be his big concern right now is a loss reflected on himself and on his presidency, where what he should really be looking at is how to get the United States out of this terrible mess that it's in, and how to get the world out of this terrible mess that they're in, because the United States and Israel put the world in this mess. And everyone needs to understand that. I'm very happy that you talked about Pakistan and the troubles that they're having and the troubles that the Asian countries are having, because in a month's time, things are going to get much worse. They're going to get much worse for Asia, and they're going to start to really bite at Europe. And the U.S. could be more insulated, and maybe the U.S. may need 2 or 3 months before everything starts to hit the U.S., but it's going to hit the U.S. as well in 2 to 3 months. So we're going to have Asia. It's going to then spread to Europe, and then eventually to make its way to the U.S. The problem there may be that the 2-3 months, by the time it gets to the U.S., Trump may look at it as giving him 2 to 3 more months to wage the war, or to try and pull out some sort of a victory or an acceptable victory, because the U.S. is a little bit more insulated than Asia and Europe, considerably more insulated than Asia and Europe. Eventually, these economic problems are going to get to the United States as well. But my fear is that the Trump administration may look at this as giving them time to search for an acceptable exit. And that would be the wrong way to look at it. But we're going to have big economic problems, huge economic problems, massive problems. I mean,
it's a catastrophe.
Yes, it's really bad
on so many fronts.
It's really, really bad. This cannot be a war that can go on for a year or two. But we're going to be looking at that's why Iran collapse.
But this is why Iran is being so one could say maximalist, or whatever term you want to use, because they know I've said this time and time again, I get a lot of hate for it, but I said Iran is obviously losing militarily. There is no way, no one expected Iran to beat the US military, to strike American bases in the US. They don't have the capacity. So that was completely off the table from the get-go. But Iran is winning strategically because surprisingly, Trump did not expect him to close the Strait of Hormuz. And that strategic win, the ability, and there's a meme I posted. Iran posted a meme of, I don't know if you saw it, one of their embassies. The embassies are just trolling Trump the whole time. It's like, it shows, the Strait of Hormuz kind of bent, shows Trump's neck in the Strait also bent. You saw that. So it shows Trump, the Strait of Hormuz choking off Trump, because they know they put Trump in a difficult position. Now, my worry, and I've said this a lot, and I haven't talked to you about it, is if Trump is put into that position, if he's backed into a corner, how far do you think he will go? Do you really think he will strike their infrastructure? Because this is also, as much as many may dislike him, he also is, he tries at least to be the peace president. He doesn't want to have the stain on his presidency after praising himself for ending all these wars and criticizing the Nobel Peace Prize Committee for not giving him the Nobel Peace Prize. This war, for someone that's been wanting to end forever wars and support the markets, he will not be remembered well when it comes to this war if he continues being bogged down. But he still has the opportunity to just walk away. So I think for me, I think he has. If Iran sticks to their guns, he has two scenarios. One of them is bomb the hell out of them until they concede. I'm sure they will eventually concede, but how long will it take? Will it take 1 week? Will it take 1 year? How much you want to destroy the country for them to concede? And number two is the other path is just walk away. Let the rest of the world sort out the Strait of Hormuz. It's wrong what you did. It's a mistake. It's fine. Every freaking president makes a mistake. Walk away and just let it be and move on to Cuba. That's the alternative that doesn't seem like it's the one he's choosing for now.
Okay, let's go to your first scenario. How does he bomb Iran into capitulation? It hasn't
I feel like a lot of people disagree with me.
Well, it hasn't worked for 40 days, and the U.S. is running out of weapons.
True, those munitions are.
They are running out of weapons, and they've tried certain operations, and they have not gone well.
But they haven't really gone hard on their energy infrastructure. That's where I thought it could start to hurt.
Well, you know, the energy infrastructure, sure, he can go after the energy infrastructure, but the way he's positioned this makes it into a war crime, the way he's positioned it. Because the way he's framed it is, I'm going to destroy their energy infrastructure as punishment for them not agreeing to my demands.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Gaza.
And it's documented now, and it's out there. And I've seen the Democrats have latched onto this, and they're even using the word war crime. Chuck Schumer used the word war crime. Other Democrat officials use the word war crime, and they're anticipating a big win in November. And now they have these posts from Trump, which are absolutely deranged and unhinged, crazy posts for a president of the United States, for a president of anywhere to put stuff like this up. But he put it up there. And he's saying, in essence, I'm going to destroy your country because I'm angry with you. He's not saying I'm going to go after the energy infrastructure because it's being used to transport military hardware, or it's being used in some sort of military fashion. He's not saying that. He's saying, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm bitter because this didn't go the way I wanted it to go. I mean, he says it, except effing open up the Strait of Hormuz. Now, I think he even uses the word bastards. I don't know.
Yeah. He said bastards, yeah.
Okay. You see, this is like a 5-year-old. It's a 5-year-old that's having a massive temper tantrum. But you can't put out statements like this if you're at war and you're the president of the United States. And you can't say, I'm going to bomb a country. I'm going to bomb them to hell, or whatever he said, because I'm upset with them, or I'm angry with them. So he's in deep trouble. He's in very, very big trouble. And the other thing that Trump
no, go ahead.
Yeah, and the other thing that he hasn't realized is that all these people that are in his MAGA inner circle right now are the very same people that were trying to impeach him in his first term. So they're going to have no problem throwing him under the bus if the time comes. He has big problems, and he's getting very poor advice, extremely poor advice.
Yeah. I know you said this.
Going with that advice.
Yeah, I know you said that in our previous interviews, and others have said it as well. And I've always refused to believe that the leader of the world's biggest military, the world's biggest democracy, the world's biggest country is going to be getting wrong advice. But I'm starting to believe that to be more likely, and I'll expand on it in a second. Can you play that clip, please, KK?
That your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
No, not at all. No. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators, and because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen, because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran. We're never going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint, from a stand any which way you want to say. Mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen.
It means violating international law.
Quiet. You no longer have credibility at the New York Times, because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election, and I won in a landslide. I won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility. The credibility they have is it used to be all the news that's fit to print. The old gray lady, it was great, but they're running on past fumes, and you can't keep doing that. You have to be able to give the correct news. And people like you, who I know, are fake. You're fake. Go ahead, please.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end to war going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages.
Right.
And we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down?
Can't tell you.
Or are you escalating
I can't tell
it?
you. I don't know. I can't tell. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages. CNN fake news.
Are you willing to make a deal that does not include reopening the Strait of Hormuz, or is that now a top priority?
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other things. We can bomb the hell out of them. We can knock them out for a loop. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water. And now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water. So it's not like the rest. We can knock out their military. We already have. We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force completely. We've knocked out 158 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out even their mine droppers. They don't have any mine droppers anymore, but they put them on other boats and they could drop them. I'm not even sure they have any mines there, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm personally, they say there might be 8. I don't know. I think there might be none because they're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force.
There's a lot there. What do you think?
What do I think? We think they're negotiating in good faith, Trump says. That's ridiculous comment. This is coming from the president that has assassinated negotiators. Consistently assassinated negotiators. And he's talking about Iran negotiating in good faith. You see, the other side, and it's not only Iran, just about every country in the world cannot trust the United States when they're negotiating with the United States. When they're going to meet with Witkoff and Kushner in the same room, a negotiator is going to leave that room and wonder, is a missile going to come after me now? Trump did this. Yeah. Because he wanted to put this peace through strength thing out there. And so peace through strength, we negotiate, we assassinate negotiators, we assassinate leaders. Well, now you have the other side, which rightly so is saying, well, negotiate with you. How can we negotiate with you? When every time we negotiate, you guys go after our negotiators and you're proud of it and you boast about it as if it's a good thing. You're killing diplomats. You're killing negotiators. You're trying to kill negotiators. You try to kill presidents. You try to kill leaders. So the fact that he said that, I find it to just be incredible that he actually says, we think they may be negotiating in good faith. He says we're going to take them to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
We're going to completely destroy them. You know, that's Israel's goal. Is the U.S.'s goal to completely destroy Iran? Is that really the goal of this entire war? Was to take Iran to the Stone Age? That's what this is all about? To destroy a country of 90 million people? And he said it. We're going to go after their bridges, their power plants. He doesn't say we're going to target X, Y, and Z because it's a military, we see it as a military target. No, he says 47 years, I'm angry at them. I don't like them. He said, I don't like them. He said, I don't like them. They're nasty people. They're these types of people. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. That's not the point. You can't destroy a country because you don't like them and you don't like what they've done for 47 years. And then he says, we destroyed their Navy and their Air Force. Who cares about their Navy? This war is not about their Navy. This war is about Iran managing to keep their regime, their government, because this was a regime change war. So I'm going to use the word regime because that was the goal of the United States in the beginning, a 2-day regime change war. They kept their government and their power structure intact. And it's probably stronger now. And the Navy, the whole Navy thing is irrelevant. Iran has shown that they have immense leverage over the entire world with the Strait of Hormuz. I wonder if Iran even understood how much leverage they have over the entire world.
They understand.
They probably do. They're very smart.
Big freaking balls to stand up to.
They have huge leverage with the Strait of Hormuz. Trump can bomb, and he can do whatever he wants. But what are you going to do to address this huge leverage that Iran has over you? He can't do anything. What can he do?
Go ahead, KK, play it.
No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. I have no Air Force Nation. In fact, the biggest problem we have in our negotiation is that they can't communicate. I said to Steve, what are they saying? Sir, they can't communicate. They have no method of communication. So we're communicating like they used to communicate 2,000 years ago with children, bringing a note back and forth. They have no communication. But all I want to see is I want to have a safe world. And you're not going to have a safe world. Israel will be gone. The Middle East will be gone. And then they're coming for Europe. And I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in NATO. Very. I think that NATO, I think it's a mark on NATO that will never disappear in my mind. You know, they're coming to see me on Wednesday. They're going to say, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they all of a sudden want to send things, you know. But they said it loud and clear at the beginning when I spoke to UK of all. I would have said they would have been the first because they're the oldest. And I say, yeah, I'd love to have a little help. He said, no, sir, we'd rather wait till you win. I said, I don't need help after we win. They have 2 old broken aircraft carriers, barely work. I said, I guess we can use them. Who the hell knows? I called the general. He didn't even want them. He said, we don't really need them. We got the SS Abraham Lincoln, sir. We don't need them. You know, we have, in terms of technology, we had one day 101 missiles.
What's the future of NATO? There's so much, Alex, so much is going to change after this war, whether it ends today or ends in a month or 2 or 3 months. So many things are going to change. NATO's potentially one of them. It's already started changing since he took presidency, even since Ukraine war, really, but since he became president.
Yeah, well, look, NATO was exposed during the Ukraine war. So, I mean, I don't see that as a big revelation that NATO is useless. It is. Without the United States, without a doubt. But can Trump pull out of NATO? He can't pull out of NATO. I don't believe as president he can pull out of NATO unilaterally. I've heard some stuff that he can exercise some sort of executive power and he can do certain things. If he does make a move with NATO, I think we're going to see a big pushback from Congress.
Hold on.
We're going to see
Oh,
a
the
big
producer
pushback
did
from
it.
Congress. And look, everything that Trump said, honestly, you listen to him and you just come away with the impression of someone that's lost. I'm not saying lost the war, just lost in the mind. You can just tell, you listen to him. He's all over the place. There is no clear strategy. There are no clear goals. He's stuck in something that he can't get out. I need NATO and I need the UK, but the UK's got nothing that they can give us. They've got 2 old boats and they don't even work. But sure, I'd like their help. But we've obliterated everything, and Iran has nothing left to fight with. He's completely lost. The best thing that the administration could do is to not put Trump out there to speak with the media, because he just makes everything worse. He's making everything worse. And the United States needs to address the core problems, the core issues here. And the core issue is Hormuz. And they need to figure out how they're going to negotiate with Iran, or how they're going to communicate with Iran in order to figure out the Strait of Hormuz. And there, Iran is going to leverage that, as any country would. And Iran was attacked, and they're going to leverage it to their advantage. And the United States is going to have to make concessions. And Iran may make some concessions, but the United States is going to have to make concessions. The quicker Trump makes those concessions and addresses the core problem, the better he will be, and the better the United States will be, and the better the world will be. If he continues to go up the escalation escalator, then we're in big trouble. If he tomorrow bombs the power plants and the bridges and everything, then we're in big we're in a big mess, because they've been underestimating Iran since the beginning. And Iran had no weapons, they had no missiles. We started out with 90% of their missiles have been destroyed, then it went to 80%, then it went to 70%. Now we're getting reports that it's 50%, and they're not even sure about that. And we haven't even addressed how many drones they have. Even Trump, just now, he said it. Just now, he said, we've destroyed their navy, we've destroyed their ships that lay down the mines, but they may have ships that put down the mines. Which one is it? He has no clue. We're dealing with the president of the United States that has no clue. And the team around him has no clue. And he's talking about Witkoff. Witkoff needs to go back to real estate. And Kushner needs to just do whatever he was doing before. He doesn't even have a position in the government. Who is this guy? What is his position? What is his purpose? Who is he to the government of the United States, to the Trump administration? And Witkoff is way out of his depth now. We have a real estate businessman trying to do what now? Trying to negotiate an end to this catastrophic, complex war? Where are the diplomats, Mario? Where are the professionals in all of this? Because Iran, like them or not, they do have professional diplomats. Araghchi is a well-seasoned, very smart, capable diplomat. It shows. And Trump is saying, oh, we're passing messages here and there. Well, we're passing messages because Iran doesn't trust you, and they can't sit in a room with you because they don't know what's going to happen to them 5 minutes when they leave. And Hormuz was opened before this war started. There was no fee. It was open. There were no problems with Hormuz. None. Free to pass. And we had the JCPOA before Trump tore it up in 2018. And the reason he tore it up, I didn't like what Obama negotiated. Well, it was an internationally recognized treaty approved by the UN, including the United States, negotiated by the United States, with the Europeans monitoring everything.
Yeah.
I mean, do you do business like that? I don't do business like that.
He was also asked about the if he's okay if Iran sets up a toll booth at the Strait of Hormuz. His answer wasn't really an answer. He said, "Are you willing to end this war with Iran charging tolls for passing through the strait?" His answer was, "What about us charging tolls? We should do it. We are the winner." So I don't know what this means.
Exactly.
Like,
What does it mean? Charging tolls where? Where are you going to charge your tolls?
I think he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean that, but he's just avoiding the question. I hope he's okay with it because I hope he does what probably the rest of the world doesn't want to see him do because they don't know how to sort the Strait of Hormuz. Or maybe some do want him to just walk away. But why isn't he? Why is he boxing himself into these threats? Why is he? I'm assuming he's going to go ahead with his threats. Why is he choosing that rather than walk away?
I don't know if he'll go ahead with his threats. I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't.
does
I
not
don't know
go
why
ahead
everyone
with it.
thinks he does. All the experts think he will. All the betting platforms think he will. And
Look,
I'm like
so-
thinking I'm the only one that thinks he won't. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I hope he doesn't either. But the problem that Trump has is that there are no goals. There are no objectives. And this was obvious from day one. They had one plan, and that was a weekend regime change operation.
Yeah.
And Israel has a completely different set of goals. Maybe in the beginning they were aligned. Maybe in the beginning both countries were aligned in the regime change. But once they didn't get the regime change, and it was obvious after the first week that there was going to be no regime change, and Iran was ready and prepared to fight, and they did have a plan, then the goals of Israel, I believe, changed. And their goals now are to destabilize Iran. If it means to destroy Iran, destroy Iran. Now, Israel can't destroy Iran, but you get the United States to destroy Iran. That's a goal of theirs, but is that goal aligned with the US's interests, with the world's interests? No. And we don't even know what that means. You destroy Iran. What does that even mean? How? What are you going to do? What does everything look like the day after? What becomes of the United States afterwards? So I hope that Trump doesn't go this route. I hope that he starts getting better advice. And I hope that he starts
I really think the advice part is a lot more important than I thought. Like, do you remember the Guardian report that the British intelligence officers or some officials that were part of the intel community in England, they believed that they're called Kushner and Witkoff Israeli assets. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That gets buried in the midst of the war the same way the whole war in Lebanon, destruction in Lebanon is getting buried. But it shocked me the day, and then I forgot about it. And then when I started thinking about everything yesterday, I'm like, how did we get here? How does Trump make that mistake? How did he make more mistakes afterwards? And then I'm like, maybe he's just getting fed the wrong information. So the peace president making such decisions, maybe it's not as the flow of information to him, maybe it's not as democratized as I would have hoped or I would have expected.
Look, I would say he's not the peace president. I would say that since he took office, he had every opportunity to bring about peace, and he's constantly made the wrong decision, whether it be Ukraine or whether it be other areas. And with Iran, he's made the biggest of all blunders. This is destroying his presidency. This has destroyed his presidency. It's destroyed his base. It's destroyed it all. Yeah.
Wrongly, I just said, hey, if you want to help, great. No, we will not help. I said, that's all right. You don't want to help? Because I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. See, NATO's a paper tiger. Putin's not afraid of NATO. Putin's afraid of us, very afraid of us. And he's explained it to me a lot of times. I got to know him very well. I know him very well. NATO's a paper tiger. NATO is us. And when we needed them, but we didn't need them, by the way. We didn't need them, obviously, because they haven't helped at all. Just the opposite. They've actually gone out of their way not to help. They didn't even want to give us landing strips. Think of it. And it's not just NATO. You know who else didn't help us? South Korea didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Australia didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Japan. We've got 50,000 soldiers in Japan to protect them from North Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea to protect us from Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. Do you notice he said very nice things about me? He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person, okay? So don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden. It was terrible. But to me, he likes Trump. And do you notice how nice things are with North Korea? It's very nice. But we have 45,000 people, soldiers, in harm's way, and right next to Kim Jong-un with a lot of nuclear weapons. 45, which should have never happened if a certain president, I'm not going to mention this president because I happen to like him, believe it or not, but if a certain president did his job, Kim Jong-un would not have nuclear weapons right now. But they were all afraid to do their job properly. But just to conclude and just to finish, Japan didn't help us, Australia didn't help us, South Korea didn't help us, and then you get to NATO, NATO didn't help us. There were some countries that did. Now, countries that have been good.
It's just nonsense. Right, Mario? Is it only me?
Like
No, it's nonsense.
No, that one, like
Yeah.
obviously you're more critical than Trump than I, but like when he's criticizing, including my country, Australia, I take that personally. And I'm joking,
Yeah.
but
What's
South Korea, Australia, NATO, etc., American allies, as much as you dislike them, they're American allies. But then, like taking praise. So if I get praise from Kim Jong-un or others like him, or even the supreme leader of Iran, if I get praise from people like that, or like a member of Hamas or something, if I get someone, Mario's a great guy, or he's a great interviewer, I wouldn't publish that. I wouldn't be proud of that.
Who cares? I mean, honestly, I mean, yeah, I agree with, okay, but how does this address the war in Iran? What is NATO going to do that the United States can't do? What is the UK? The UK doesn't have any ships. They don't even have a military. There's nothing left in the UK. What are they going to do? What is Australia, Japan, South Korea going to do that the United States cannot do when it comes to this war in Iran? Do they have a way that they can magically open the Strait of Hormuz? Well, Trump actually did say that the Strait of Hormuz one day will magically open. He did say that as well. But you know what does any of this have to do with what's happening now in Iran and the problem that the United States has in Iran and the whole world now has with the Strait of Hormuz? Doesn't have anything to do with any of what's happening. I'm friends with Putin. I'm not. Who cares? Russia's afraid of. Who cares? They're not. But who cares? You're not addressing the issue that all of us have, and it's going to affect all of us. That's why I say all of us. It's going to affect every one of us. What's happening? So
based on this speech, a question I want to ask you is: after the speech, do you think he's more or less likely to deliver on his threats? My guess is less likely to deliver on his threats. Let's see how the market's reacting. But where do you stand? Or same? Or no ID? Because he's confusing the hell out of us.
I think he's. I hold out hope that he's not going to do anything tomorrow. That's all I can say. I hold out hope that he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, and we're going to get a taco Tuesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, yeah.
That would be my favorite taco. That would be my favorite taco ever.
Yeah, I hope we get a Taco Tuesday. He doesn't do anything, and he goes to Russia and China, and he seeks help from Russia and China. Those are the two countries that can unlock this. That's where he needs to go. He'll never do it because of his ego, or the chances are slim that he'll do it. But that's where he needs to go. And those countries, they're ready and they're willing to help solve this and unlock this, as is Pakistan. They're trying to solve it, and other countries are trying to figure it out. But there are countries, and there are powerful countries, that I believe if Trump went to them, they would be able to help and assist in finding a solution to this. But the U.S. is going to have to make concessions. But it's better for Trump to make concessions now than to continue to escalate and continue to get bogged down in this war. And things are going to become much worse in 3 months. So it's better to sort this out now and especially before you put boots on the ground. And
Technically,
without a doubt,
technically we already put boots on the ground, technically.
well, yeah, that's a good point. We've already had fighting. You see, we've already had fighting between the U.S. military and Iran. Absolutely, that's a very dangerous escalation. Whatever the circumstances, it's a dangerous escalation. Which is why a lot of people are saying that the United States and Trump, that they're getting bogged down, and this is turning into a quagmire, step by step. Which is why he needs to exit this for the best interests of the United States. And you're going to have to make concessions. If the concession is a toll at the Strait of Hormuz and U.S. military bases, certain U.S. military bases leaving the region, then so be it.
Alex, thank you for jumping on. Appreciate you as always. I always enjoy our
Thank you,
conversations, man. And
you.
we'll ping you tomorrow, whether we do an interview or not. We'll just ping you anyway, either celebrating or crying together.
Well, let's hope for the best. Let's hope for
Thanks,
the best.
man. And
yeah.
keep the great show going, man. Love watching you and Alexandra
Likewise.
go back and forth.
Likewise, Mario.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.